Welcome back. We got a sandwich for the desk sergeant at the police station. Let's see if that will make him more talkative.
You look so hungry. Here, take this.
Sure, this is going to be a sandwich on rye. Bless you, lassie. Don't mind if I do. Sure, and it tastes fresh too. Mmm.
Indeed, it does. At least according to the description, maybe a little bit too fresh. Well, he seemed to like that, so let's see if he's in a mood to talk to us now.
I know I always feel a little better after I've had something to eat.
There's no denying that, miss. Now, what was it you were wanting to ask me?
Seems like it. I don't think he has anything else to say.
I know I...
Nope. But we can question him now. So let's question him about everything. How about our editor, Sam Augustini?
Is there any information you can give me about Sam Augustini, editor of the New York Daily Register News Tribune?
Hoot man, he's a good law-abiding citizen.
Well, that's good to know, I guess. How about Dr. Pippen Carter?
What do you have on a Pippen Carter?
I've never heard of the fella.
I guess that means the desk sergeant isn't going to know an awful lot about the burglary if he hasn't heard of the person who discovered the dagger. How about Dr. Carrington?
What do you know of an Archibald Carrington III?
Can't say as I've heard of the man, miss.
Can already tell you're going to be a great help. Obviously, he will have heard of Detective O'Reilly, who was a little bit less than helpful just now.
Detective O'Reilly seemed very rude. Is there any way I could talk with him again when he's in a better mood?
Ah, well, and here I thought he was in such a good mood today. He's a very busy fella. If only you'd talked to him once today, I doubt he'd be talking to you again.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever actually done it in this order. I usually talk to the desk sergeant first before trying to knock on O'Reilly's door. And I didn't realize that the desk sergeant actually, like your conversation about O'Reilly, is slightly different if you talk to him after. If you ask him before, he tells you that he's assigned to the case and that his office is back there, so you could go there to talk to him, obviously. Rube said he came by the police station occasionally to check up on leads, so perhaps they have heard of him here.
Do you have any record of a Crodfaller T. Rhubarb?
Oh, go on with you. You're pulling my leg on that one. There's no such man, is there now?
I'm serious.
Well, I've seriously never heard of the man.
I guess not. You know anything about this laundry person? Why are we asking everyone that?
What can you tell me about low fat?
Well, it usually doesn't taste as good as the fattening stuff.
I'm referring to a person.
Ah, well, then I'm afraid I can't give you any information, miss, as I've not heard of the fella.
Must use a different laundry. How about our dad? He is, after all, a detective himself, so even though he's from New Orleans, maybe they've heard of him here.
What can you tell me about John Bow?
Not much, I'm afraid. I know a lot of men named John Doe, but offhand nobody named John Bow.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. How about Ziggy? If he is a stoolie, then maybe he gets information to the police as well as the press.
I'm looking for information about a man named Ziggy.
What would a lass like yourself be wanting with scum like that?
Never you mind why. I'm just looking for information about him.
I suppose it's no big secret. Not round here, anyways. Ziggy's is a first-class little rat fink. Couldn't cut it as a crook on his own. Now he has to go around spoiling it for the rest of them. Nasty little big mouth. Though he does seem to hear an awful lot. If you're looking for him, he's the kind of man what hangs around in speakeasies. Not that we have any in New York City, mind you. We've got these places closed up good and tight.
Nice save. I almost believe you. How about some places like the Trib?
Are you familiar with the New York Daily Register News Tribune building?
Yes, ma'am. And a fine upstanding building it is, too.
Well, it is across the street, so I would expect him to know about it. How about the police station?
What can you tell me about this police station?
14th precinct, miss. And a darn fine precinct she is, too.
I'll have to take your word for it. Well, he didn't know low fat, so he probably also doesn't know his laundry, but still.
Have you ever been to Low Fat's Chinese Laundry?
Not me, miss. But I'll be happy to ask me bonny wife for you.
That won't be necessary. I was just asking.
How about the docks?
What should I know about the 12th Street docks?
Oh, lovely place if you like rats, thieves, and roughnecks. If I were you, I'd be staying away from that area. Lord knows we do.
I'm sure that's good for the crime there if you don't go there. How about the museum? That might actually be useful to ask about.
What do you know about the Leyendecker Museum?
A very fine establishment. Worthwhile seeing, even if you're only in town for a short while. Very educational.
Have you actually been there?
Well... But I live in the city, and I'm not having to see all the landmarks.
Weird, the speech for no seemed to be missing. And it's true, if you live somewhere, you usually don't do the touristy stuff. Unless you have people visiting, and then you do the touristy stuff with them. Which I guess was less common back then, considering, it's not like people would just hop on a plane from Europe to go to New York.
What should I know about New York? I've only just moved here.
Best advice I can offer you, miss, is to keep some money in your shoe at all times. You never know when you might need some emergency cash.
Yeah, so we keep hearing. Shoulda listened to your dad, Laura. Shoulda listened to your dad. He seemed to know something about the speakeasy, although he tried to cover it up.
What can you tell me about the speakeasy?
Now, I don't know anything about a speakeasy. Not in this town. We run a clean city here. But there are some nice places where a lady like yourself can sit and relax and enjoy a bit of the high life, if you know what I'm saying. Course, some of these places are restricted, don't you know? So you'll have to be giving them the right signs so they know you're okay. But just mention it Charleston, and you're in like Flynn. You got that now?
I think so. Thank you kindly, Sergeant.
Don't mention it. And I mean it now. Don't you go mentioning it. Not to anyone.
And that is why I said last time that if the game did let you eat the sandwich, and therefore you couldn't talk to the desk sergeant, the game would be unwinnable, because you can't get this bit of information any other way. And that will get you stuck later on. But fortunately, this game was nice and, not written by Roberta Williams, so that might have had something to do with it. So it didn't let us do that. Not to worry, there will be plenty of ridiculous deaths in this game, so... kind of makes up for it that way, I guess. I guess that's all the places. Let's move on to things.
What do you know about notebooks?
They're very handy for taking notes, lass.
Can't argue with that.
What do you know about press passes?
Ah, the bane of my existence, letting the snooping reporters in where they're not wanted.
I hope you don't mean any offense by that. How about the baseball?
What do you know about a baseball?
I wouldn't want to be getting hit by one.
Good advice as always. It looked like the Charleston got added to our list of miscellaneous things.
What does 1926 mean to you?
Cutting the department's budget and another year of haggis and blood pudding. No one's just sorry asked.
Wait, aren't you supposed to be Irish, and isn't haggis Scottish? Do they have haggis in Ireland? I'm not sure, actually.
What can you tell me about the burglary at the Leyendecker Museum?
I'm not covering that case, miss. Why not ask Detective O'Reilly about it? He's the one you should be talking to.
We did, and he was less than forthcoming. I somehow doubt this guy knows a lot about Egyptology.
How conversant are you in the intricacies of Egyptology?
Missy, I don't even know what you're asking about.
He probably didn't know most of the words in that sentence. He told us about the Charleston, so... But anyway.
What's this business about the Charleston?
It's a popular dance, lass. It's also the you-know-what for the you-know-what I told you about earlier.
Indeed. Let's keep that in mind. Well, that's it for the police station. And indeed, that's it for this part of the city. So let's see where else we can go by taking a cab.
Greetings, madam. I can motivate you to your destination if you can prove that you're a reporter or if you have American currency.
Well, we do not have currency, but we can prove we're a reporter. Well, sort of.
To what location would you like to be motivated, madam?
And we use the notebook, again, to select where we want to go. Only places really functions, obviously. And well, considering what we're doing here, I think it might be a good idea to check out the museum.
Have you heard about that transatlantic radio telephone conversation between New York and London? Imagine hearing someone's voice from that distance. Modern technology, oh, it just amazes me. Thanks for traveling with us, madam. Have a pleasant day.
All right, the museum. Sorry. Looks imposing. And we will be spending a lot of time here in this game.
Looking at the mighty cumulonimbus cloud formations in the sky, you're reminded of your childhood, when your father would sit beside you on the grass in front of your house, smelling the scents of summer and looking for familiar shapes among the clouds.
Cumulonimbus. Are we getting thunderstorms later? Also, I was trying to just get a generic description of the screen, but I guess that failed.
Looking at the famous Leyendecker Museum, named after Ignaz Leyendecker, who financed the construction of the museum as a tax dodge. Ignaz made his fortune in the late 1800s by defying the banana embargo and smuggling bananas into the country disguised as miniature squash.
Sounds legit.
The entrance to the museum is framed with impressive marble columns. This is exactly the sort of architectural touch that seems so popular these days.
If you say so.
It's definitely a tree, possibly a larch.
I'll keep that in mind.
The exterior of this museum was hand-painted.
Is that like a pun because, all the backgrounds are hand-painted in this game? Possibly.
A fountain.
No clever descriptions of the fountain?
A fountain.
Or that one.
A parked car. Note the sleek lines of this late model automobile.
Oh yeah, so sleek.
This is the taxi that brought you here.
It's a good thing he's waiting around, considering there does not seem to be a taxi sign here.
A parked car. The impressive dome over the museum rotunda. Its shape reminds you of something, but you can't put your finger on it.
Okay. Honestly, not entirely sure what they're referring to here. Can we go in the museum? Giant sign about the fundraiser,
You see that the fundraising party will begin at 7 p.m.
which I'm assuming is not yet now.
A lovely stained glass window. This is it, the entrance to the famous Leyendecker Museum. Exceptionally attractive ionic columns.
They are quite nice.
Looks aren't everything.
That means there's no message looking at something.
This is it. You see that the...
Why do you see that, by the way? It actually does not say that it starts at 7 p.m. on this sign. Can we go in now?
This door is locked.
I guess not. This sign does, however, remind us again that we require formal attire, and we have none. Which is annoying. Where could we procure formal attire, considering that we have no money and no luggage? So this probably is the only outfit we own right now.
Greetings, madam. I can motivate you to your destination if you can prove that you're a reporter or if you have American currency.
Do you just say that exact line to everybody who walks in here? Can we look at stuff in here?
The driver is a big, rough-looking guy with a broken nose. Whatever you do, don't touch him.
I wasn't planning on it.
It reads Taxi Operator's License, New York Taxi Control Authority. The bottom of the license reads, License renewed September 5, 1926. The driver's name is Rocco.
Too bad he's not Australian.
It's New York City. It's you, Laura Bow, fresh out of college and already working for a great metropolitan newspaper. It looks like a New York City taxi circa 1926.
Probably because it is. Anyway, let's actually go somewhere.
To what location would you like to be motivated, madam?
Well, we keep hearing about this laundry place. I guess it's a long shot, but maybe it can help us get some evening wear for this fundraiser.
Have you heard about that transatlantic radio telephone conversation between New York and London?
I have. You literally just told me
Imagine
about
hearing
it.
someone's voice from that distance. Modern technology, oh, it just amazes me. Thanks for traveling with us, madam. Have a pleasant day.
I think it randomly picks between a few conversations with the taxi driver, and I don't think it pays any attention to which ones you've already heard. So, anyway, we're in front of Low Fats Chinese Laundry.
The sign reads, Low Fats. This must be that low fats place you've heard so much about since arriving in New York City.
I guess it must be. Why have we heard so much about it anyway? Must be like the most famous laundry in the city.
You see a gaudily painted front door to Low Fats Laundry. There appear to be shops on either side of the quaintly painted storefront, but none of them hold your interest. There are some stairs leading up a dark and dangerous-looking passageway.
Well, that just sounds like an invitation, doesn't it?
After a quick glance at the dark staircase, you decide that it's potentially hazardous to your health and that there can't possibly be anything of interest upstairs.
Really? Such an obvious invitation for a death scene, and there isn't one. Are we sure this is a Sierra game?
You're in Chinatown.
Seems like it.
There are no cars coming from this direction.
Oh, looks like we can cross the street here. Don't want to do that right now, though.
Crossing the street will lead you to a flower shop.
A flower shop. Could it be the very flower shop that the speakeasy is disguised as? Yes, it is. We want to check that out, of course, but we'll check Loafouts out first. There's also some kids on the sidewalk here.
You see a rotund, unhappy-looking boy. The other boys, who are industriously setting fire to ants with a magnifying glass, seem to be tolerating his presence, but largely ignore him.
Well, that's not very nice of them.
This youngster looks like a real roughneck. He appears slightly older than the other two boys, his brown hair wild and unruly, and a look of studied indifference on his face. The indifference is heightened by the nonchalant way he's burning ants with a magnifying glass.
So they have a magnifying glass. That is kind of interesting. After all, I don't think we're going to get any monocles off of dead doctors in this game. So an actual magnifying glass would be very helpful in our investigations. Wonder if they'd be willing to give that to us.
This little boy is trying to set fire to ants. He's shabbily dressed and poorly groomed. He's peering intently at the panicking ants on the sidewalk.
Plus the ants will probably thank us. Maybe they'll help us later find a needle in a haystack. If we save them from incineration.
It's a nice day, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, there's not a cloud in the sky and the sun is shining.
I guess. Makes the ants light quicker, that's for sure.
Not a cloud in the sky. A, it's wrong even on this screen, and B, apparently there were cumulonimbus clouds over the museum, so must be a lot of very localized weather here.
Look, it's a bit of blue sky uncrossed by power lines and unsullied by ugly high-rises. What's more, the sky appears blue and beautiful. New Yorkers rarely get to see such a treat.
I guess so.
So what's your name, little boy?
Biff!
My, what a nice name. So, do you have any interesting hobbies?
Killing ants, hitting baseballs through windows, and passing on my wisdom to those younger than me. What's it to you?
Just asking.
Yeah? Well, don't ask again.
Alright. Obviously they didn't get any actual kids to voice this, and they're using some really, really bad voice modification.
So, do you have killing it? Just
Yeah?
Well, I did ask again, and you answered again, so...
what's your name, little boy?
None of your beeswax.
You're quite the impertinent little boy, aren't you?
Yeah, well, my folks told me not to talk to strangers.
His name's Paul Untermeyer.
Yeah, but we call him Stinky because his initials are P.U.
Okay. So we have Tubby, Biff, and Stinky. Nice group.
So, what are you doing?
Giving these crummy ants a hot foot. Wanna try?
Thank you kindly. Some other time.
Your loss, lady.
Yeah, sure.
It's a nice...
I don't know. I guess.
How can we get that magnifying glass, though?
Hey, don't touch me!
Didn't think that was gonna work. Can we question them? Oh, I guess you can. I doubt it's gonna be very useful.
Sorry, lady. I don't think my friends are your friends, or vice versa.
It must be wonderful to live in New York City, isn't it?
Fine, if you like crime and smelly air.
Oh, I'm sure they'll have all that cleaned up in no time flat.
Sure. And men are gonna walk on the moon.
Well, at least one of those is right. Does he know anything about the museum?
Sorry, never been there.
How about the laundry? We're right next to it, by the way, so...
Sorry, never been there.
Guess not. Do you know anything about the burglary?
So what's the word on the street about the burglary at the Leyendecker Museum?
Hey, what do I look like to you, a stoolie? I ain't heard nothing about it.
I guess that was too much to hope for.
1926 is going to be a terrific year, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
How about Egyptology?
What can you tell me about Egyptology?
I don't know him. And if I had a name like that, I'd change it.
Some of these are funny. Not much purpose to them. How about the other kids? They have anything to say about New York?
How do you like living in New York?
My parents say it stinks. I don't know. I kind of like it.
The year?
Isn't this a great year to be alive?
My parents say it's just another lousy year like all the rest.
That's an oddly specific thing for your parents to have said. Do people often talk about the year in this period?
Say, did you hear about the burglary at the Leyendecker Museum? Pretty exciting.
Did anybody get killed?
I don't think so.
Then big deal.
Somebody did get killed on the boat, but again, nobody knows about that yet.
Have you ever studied Egyptology? It's very exciting.
I like mummies. They're already dead.
Well, there's a lot more to Egyptology than mummies, but you're right. They are very mysterious.
Someday I really want to unwrap one and see what they look like underneath. I don't know. My parents say there's no such thing as mummies that move.
Your parents are right. Yeah, so that's at Charleston. Wow, that doesn't even do anything.
I'm not supposed to talk about places I haven't been to.
Are you sure you're telling me the truth?
Yes, ma'am. My parents said so.
I guess that means he has been to the police station?
I'm not supposed to talk.
Are you
Yes, ma'am.
Or he just says that for everything. What's speakeasy across the street?
I'm not supposed to.
Are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, well. How about the last kid? Let's just do the same thing. New York?
I'm pretty new to the city. What can you tell me about it?
Well, see, there's these big honking alligators in the sewer from kids flushing them down the toilet.
Oh?
So you gotta stay off of manhole covers or else they come up and eat you in one big gulp.
Do not.
Do so.
Not.
So.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah-huh.
Please. Maybe I'll just stay off of manhole covers just in case.
Well, I'm on Tubby's side. Even if they were in the sewer, I doubt they'd be strong enough to lift a manhole cover while climbing up a ladder.
Well, 1926 is sure turning out to be an exciting year, isn't it?
Sure is. My next door neighbor's ugly dog got run over by a car. Splat! And then he was only like this thick. My dad lost his job and had to start driving a cab. And he already had one accident. Crash! Then I ditched school only about 50 times to see the Dodgers. Wham! So yeah, so far it's been a pretty good year.
Okay, good for you.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about the break-in at the Leyendecker Museum, would you?
I have an alibi, so you'll never get me, copper.
You've got quite an imagination.
It's true. I swear on a hunk of Bibles I didn't do it.
And in a ridiculous plot twist, it turns out this is actually the culprit. No, even this game is not that ridiculous. It does get pretty ridiculous, but even not that ridiculous, at least.
Would you happen to know anything about Egyptology?
You mean the study of Egyptian antiquities and the ancient civilization that flourished there? Yeah, right.
Well, he already seems to know more about it than anybody else we've talked to. Alright. Well, we do want that magnifying glass, but I guess we'll have to figure out how to get that from them in the next video.